very much about networking and sharing. So if you have any questions, please come up. If you have things to share, let us know. But other than that, I'll give the stage over to Trish and let you see what he has. So thank you all for coming.
Hello, hello, bonsoir tout le monde, comment allez-vous? In English, right? I was thinking, preparing this whole presentation, I could do it in French or English. So if I get stuck, or you don't know a word, or I don't know a word, I might say it in a different language. Shout, let me know. And thank you very much for your kind introduction, Mark. I'm gonna do a presentation that, we're not gonna do this? You don't want to talk about afterwards? Okay, perfect. Whew, that means you guys are going to stop when the pizza comes. There's going to be pizza. Right, okay, I'm going to go first. So here's my mouse. What I'm going to do for you guys is, is the first ever presentation that I ever did when I spoke live. Because I think, as Mark said, you all have an amazing sourcing community, right? You've met me at True Sourcing, you met me at SourceCon, you met me at True Paris. Where else have I been? I met lots of you guys in Paris, and but SourceCon is like that community which has been around for a long time. Recruiter's Kitchen as well. Yeah, there you are. I knew it was there. SourceCon is one of those things which has been around, and it actually documents the evolution of sourcing, and it's almost one of the best places on the internet to go and figure out how sourcing is. You guys have an amazing community, so I want to do this presentation because it's the first presentation I ever did 5 years ago, and it's a bit scary because I'm gonna do some sourcing, right? Like I'm gonna show you like how my computer works and all this kind of stuff. So if you don't know me, this is me, Tris Revill. You can go and find everything that you need to know about me on there. Just to get this up and running. So I am the co-founder of DBR, which is the world's largest in-house recruiter community. We have 2,500 members. I spend a lot of time talking on Slack. I know Recruiter's Kitchen is the French version here. I also founded something this year with a good SourceCon person to know. Slow it down. I founded this thing called Growth Hacking Recruiters. It's a Facebook group and a community, and no one's ever seen this live before. So this is the landing page that we built on the weekend. And if you go here and you sign up, at the bottom, I have written about 24 emails teaching you how to become a growth hacking recruiter. And they come into your inbox bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. So that's the only email automation I'm doing. And then what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about how do you go about sourcing all the way through from finding a candidate, even before that, getting a job, through to the high end of it, growth hacking, automation, all that kind of stuff. So I thought it would be fun to look at sourcing jobs. Because we all know about sourcing, right? But how many of us sit down and actually look for a sourcing job? When was the last time someone searched, I'm looking for a sourcing job? Last week? You don't have an alert for that? It's often like we forget this is a recruiter. Like, we don't actually go and behave like a real job seeker and go and find out what the job seeker sees. And okay, I used to work at Indeed. So obviously a little bit of an Indeed plug here. But the first people at the top are Indeed. But it's always really interesting to look at this information first and foremost, because I'm putting myself in the shoes of that job seeker. And in doing that, I can learn about the role more, like before I even need to go and talk to a hiring manager. I can look here and I can see, okay, there's some issues I'm going to have with procurement and buying and dental stuff. Ooh, maybe not actually, no, because that's like social talent. And then this is the US version. So we have the salaries on the side here, 105,000. But actually obviously my computer reverts to the US version. If we look on Indeed France, and we do. Sort of thing. Oh no, yeah. Why am I in the book? Where is that? I've never been there. I don't know where it is. Let's look in Paris. Told you this is going to get exciting, right? So here I can immediately start to see shouted in recruitment. That's cool. I didn't expect that. I can start to see what the market looks like, and actually what I'm interested in, I'm going to turn my recruiter brain on now. 28,000. I think someone needs to figure out their salary issue there. But like, what I'm going to start to think about now is what do I know and what can I learn just by looking at this? Like, what can I understand about the market? So first of all, sourcing is probably a bit of a pants search word, but we'll come back to that. Second of all, this is this estimate of the salaries on the job ads. This is where most of the people are, and these are all their top employers that are advertising for those people. This is who I'm competing against, because these have got the most jobs. So now I know how to build a search string very quickly, just from behaving like a job seeker and going to find the candidate. But I think that that's a bit boring, because I don't want to just go on LinkedIn yet. I'm not a baby recruiter. We're going to I like this search. If it works, if it doesn't work, I'm going to go to my notes. So why not just Google the term and find some information about it? We all know sourcing, what it is. We're all here at SourceCon. If you haven't thought about doing this before, I'm going to find a honeypot of candidates from just that first page on Google. And what I mean by honeypot is a place to go and just find and engage and talk to people that are in the industry and that are going to be useful. So obviously, yes, we all know who this is, huh? Link Humans. And if we go and have a look at Link Humans, Curtis Sourcing, who is it? These guys, they paid a lot of money, or they've done something to get that at the top of the first page, first result. That is pretty impressive. Maybe I go on their website a little bit, and I've done this before. This is what the sourcing is. There's all sorts of arguments about that. This is lots of information. I can see this is what I'm looking for, who it was written by. Laurent, we all know him. And if I go to the bottom, I'm going to see some information about who wrote it, the publisher. And True Sourcing is a great place to go and have a look for some candidates straight away. So from the first page of Google, I'm getting to engaging with the audience as opposed to just keyword plugging in, right? And this is the way that I think about sourcing. I think about going out and I'm going to find a very specific profile or a very specific skill set, but to begin with, I need to learn about that skill set. I need to use my design thinking. I need to use that kind of stuff and go and have a play with this. So we can go and have a play on the True Sourcing hashtag and do some Twitter sourcing. Who sources on Twitter in the room? Yeah, there's 3 people. Twitter still lives. I'll tell you why I love sourcing on, look, hi. Here I am. Oh yeah, that's there. Yeah, cool. I love Twitter, right, because it allows me to find information instantly and also engage with people instantly as well. So we can go and look at the SourceCon hashtag, and we can go and start doing some cool tricks, and we can see who's on there. Obviously, this evening it's going to be lots of sources in Paris, right? Just taking some context. But if I didn't, I could go and learn about sourcing. I can go find some people, or I could pull up the list of people, and then, because I'm lazy, I'm just going to follow them all. There we go. So that'll do the work in the sourcing bit. Because what it's now doing is it's attracting and engaging with those people without me having to do any work. And behind it, because I'm lazy, I have, if anyone follows me back, I get a little telltale sign of, hey, they're interested because they follow me back. They're interested by my profile. I send them a quick little message using an automatic DM, and I can start a conversation with them. That is full stack sourcing. Attract, identify, attract, engage. All the way through. Easy, right? We can do this in a different way. Okay, so let's go back to here. We can do some fancy sourcing. Shout out to Todd who calls this fancy sourcing. We can go look at Laurent. I saw this yesterday, so I was going to do a shout out on this and then go and find CVs on the internet. I think a lot of us forget that when I started this search, and when you start your search, you need to understand the information and process that information first before you can actually go and jump in and look at CVs. But now I know that maybe if I just write sourcing as a keyword, when I'm sourcing for someone, it's not going to be the right thing. So I'm on Link Humans blog, and he's talking about this super cool new hack, which was Arena released at Sosu, right? And it's about sourcing with the telephone numbers. So because I'm a sourcing geek, I'm going to try and see if that works. Did prepare this a little bit. this is what the UTF emoji looks like. And just to prove the point, if I go sourcing Paris CV, I'm not going to get very much. There's cabinet de recruitment. There's recruiters. Nothing very, very human. Not exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe I'd take emploi out and jobs and sample. I'm hoping we can find a CV. Trust me, this hasn't worked. Yeah. Oh, look, there's a chief digital officer that's using it. That's kind of cool. Maybe he knows about sourcing. This person is computer science. This is everything I need to contact them, by the way. Like, this is on the internet. They put it there. They want you to contact them. They're interested. If I can find someone, and maybe you guys can help me with this, like find a phrase which is good for a sourcer, then we can maybe get a real CV. Like what was it, like, because this is the thing, if we keyword plug all the time, it's not gonna work. And one of the great things that I learned at SourceCon was phrase sourcing. So anyone think about a phrase that a sourcer might have on their CV? Allez, aidez-moi, s'il vous plaît. Talent acquisition? Do you think this is not really an action of what a sourcer would write on their CV? Oh. Screening? Screening is a good word, but how do you say screening in French? Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's easy. Woohoo! My French is so good. Screening. What about Boolean? Yeah. Maybe some scraping. Or let's have a look at that. What's scraping? Because that's the smart one, so it can do that. Oh, we could have a whole talk about that. Scraping is like how we go to the next scale. I'll show you, don't worry. It's coming next. I'm really not getting any. I'm getting Tremadol, like screening. I'm not happy with this. This person, here we go, look. François Collard. He's not here, is he? Trust me, that's happened before. We can call him. Oh, is he in Spain or something? No, he's in France. French number. There you go. French number, le sourceur. Is he a sourcer? And if he's a sourcer, I'm gonna like be so happy this worked. That moment when LinkedIn is checking all those Chrome plugins that I've got running on my thing. It's like, oh, what is Tris running today? Any questions about how I got to this point? Huh? Of course you can go directly and search on LinkedIn, but why go to LinkedIn first? Are they? I think that's completely, definitely not true that everyone is on LinkedIn. If you think about how many people are in the world, and then you think about the addressable market, and you think about if you ask 10 people, how many of them, not just are on LinkedIn, how many of them logged into LinkedIn in the last 30 days? Just one tool? Yeah, which one would you choose? Just one. Just Google. Just Google? Yeah. Because the search engine allows us to search for everything. We can go to SourceCon and learn how to do this stuff, and it's all on SourceCon, and then we can run search and find information about Facebook search. We can go and look at Twitter. We can do all of those things, and we can start to engage with people not in the place they expect, because we want to brand ourselves differently. Sources pride themselves in how they attract and engage the candidate. You guys are great at that, right? Like the French talent market is a busy, dynamic talent market. Step yourself out of the noise of LinkedIn where you become like every other recruiter. This is not working. It's okay. So we'll go to LinkedIn. And let's go do some sourcing on LinkedIn. It's okay. I've got a plan. This is how I source on LinkedIn. This is my prep. Here we go. Okay, right. It is boring. I do think that like LinkedIn is, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I just need to check my notes there. So I think like LinkedIn is really useful for a recruiter and for a sourcer because it's contextual information. And what we don't understand, what that means for us, right, is it's very easy for us to see what we think are people's CVs. But what we're not looking at is people's CVs, it's how they sell themselves. And it's their professional network. And then we can figure out how engaged are they with their professional network. And in fact, like, if I want to find, we can do a job title of sourcing, and we could just, like, in people, and we can start like this. And we're going to find candidates, right? And we're going to find information. But how many of these people are active? None, and I can't afford to pay for SourceCon. How many of them are going to respond to you? None, because they're not. But tell you, if you go and look on Twitter and start talking to those sources that are on Twitter, sourcing this evening, they're engaged already. They're interested already. You guys, like, thank you and shout out to everyone who's tweeting. But if you're tweeting, like, you're immediately engaged, interested, want to improve, you're a better candidate. Okay, sorry. And then from there, you're then going to be easier to engage because I've got a reason to talk to you. I can't call, hi, you have a let's look in France. We have, like, there's not very many in France either. Wait. This is really slow on LinkedIn. The thing is, like, for me, I think that every sourcer, Pierre-André Fontaine, thank you. Like, this is, like, already these people are, like, not only are there most of them in the room, but, like, these people are, like, already quite high and engaged, and, like, so am I going to find the right sourcer there? Maybe, maybe not. Like, that's just really simple search, right? Like, and are they engaged? Are they using the platform? Like, I want to find someone who's probably not using the platform, and you can see very quickly. Sorry, Valerian. We can have a look. This guy is not exactly active on LinkedIn, is he? He's not exactly there engaging with the platform. No, I don't have LinkedIn Recruiter. He probably has LinkedIn Recruiter. Let's check this instead, right? Like, why not? And this is what I found was really interesting. It's like, why not use content search in LinkedIn to engage with communities and get them to help you? And the way that I see the attract and engage, we know we've identified, and we did it with sourcing to make this easy, but if you are sourcing a Java developer or a JavaScript developer, start by looking at what a JavaScript developer sees every day, right? And the same with, like, anyone like that. You can take this same process and look at what they see, look at what happens when they look for a job, and then look at where they're engaging. And why you can search people jobs, but why did LinkedIn allow me to search content? Like, LinkedIn allows me to search content because it wants you to talk to the people that are engaging on the platform. And thank you very much for all the shout outs on LinkedIn. There's this particular status that I had in mind for this. There's already people, like, talking, and maybe I could just write sourcing Paris to get it better. And then, link helper is not running. So I'm going to run this. This is what I found earlier on when I was prepping this talk. But this is someone I don't know talking about the other SourceCon that was in Europe. And this is someone completely out of my network that I have no idea who this person is. They're talking about sourcing in Paris and got 46 people. Those are the people I'm interested in talking to because they're interested in sourcing too. And because I'm really, really lazy, I'm just going to use something like this. Let's make a new sourcing. Make a little list. If you guys have seen this, this is a tool called Linked Helper, but there's a bunch of other tools out there as well. This is going to do all the work of adding all those people to a list. So then I can send them all a message. And the message is going to be so tailored that they're going to be engaging with me. That's the next thing, right? Get your messaging right. These are, like, serious weapons you just learned. Because with this, I can now go into my linked helper here and say, oh, these are my first connections. Let me send a message to them. And here we go. This is going to start sending messages and doing the sourcing job of most people. And this is just an automation tool. So this is just a very simple way of starting to engage with your network and actually doing it with your first connections, doing it from content and from place gives you intent, and that's what we're all looking for when we're sourcing. We're all looking for the intent to come and work in this place. We're all looking for the, we're all waiting for it to send the message now, aren't we? Yeah, trust me, I am too. These Russians who made this, if they like break, if it breaks, a lot of sourcing teams are going to slow down. But this immediately allows me to engage and get intent because I can see that they're interested in their subject matter, that they're going to be tweeting about, talking about, engaging with, or that they're looking for a job because their CV's on Indeed or their CV is posted live or so on and so forth, and it gives me a real reason to talk to them as opposed to just going on LinkedIn, sending messages to people that aren't even engaged, that aren't even logging into the platform. Does it make sense? Yeah? Any other questions? I'm just going to leave this run now. I'm waiting for the pizza. That was 20 minutes, right? I'm hoping that someone in the room is going to pop up in a second, and then they're going to get the message. So I'm going to leave this to run until then. Then they can prove that this is really running. And when I show this to people, like, it immediately scares them because you're like, oh, this is all I do all day long. I just send messages to people on LinkedIn. If you're just doing that, like, get this tool. Go on the Growth Hacking Recruiters website, go on SourceCon, learn how to write good messages, learn about copy. Good, thank you very much.
Questions?
Any questions? There's like a thing we can throw, or I can talk loud.
I actually have a question about sending these like automated messages. Does it also automate like the personalization of the message?
Yeah, good. Personalization. There you are. It's Christelle who's sending me a message back.
That's me.
Yeah, there you are. See, I can remember it like that. So it just happened.
Did everyone got the question? Because I didn't, and if you don't mind.
So the question was.
It's my question. My question was, what about the personalization?
So personalization. So the personalization within that tool in particular allows you to first name, last name, company, number of followers, connections in common, lots and lots of personalization. Because a lot of LinkedIn people are fake and they have fake profiles, and that's the tool that runs the big networks of fake profiles. So it's one of the more solid ones. There's another one you can use called PeopleCamp, which is designed specifically for recruiters. So PeopleCamp actually attaches to your ATS as well, which is pretty cool. And she's turned the screen off, so I can't see my mouse or what you're going to talk about. Yeah. Yeah, so one of the things that I'm very careful about is, so you got asked about block limits on LinkedIn. Yeah, so first of all, like, if you're going to go to LinkedIn jail, you're going to do it by using one of those tools. Like 100%. Don't exceed the limits that are preset within the tool that the tool has learned, because it's built for that. But also understand the size of your network, and like if you suddenly go and add 100,000 contacts like that, LinkedIn is a big computer and it knows that you're a bot. Still be human, right? Like, this is the thing. Like, I want to increase the engagement on my platform by engaging with people that are connected with me, that are already in conversation with me, that are already interested in talking to me. And then I'm not going to be blocked. I'm not going to be marked as spam because I sent someone 27 different connection requests on all their email addresses. Like, that's the way to play it. But test it little by little, little by little. Definitely. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, thank you.
Over to me again.
Okay. Mr. Mark.
Okay. So this is part of the presentation I did in Budapest at the last SourceCon. And the reason why we ended up taking those slides is that one of the things that I've been working with in the last 2 years is similar to what Tris was talking about. The real challenge for me is not finding people. We got all the tools in the world for that. the real challenge for, I think, all of us is engaging with those people. Like, how many of us are doing lists of 100, sending whatever email, whatever we have, getting a 20% response rate and thinking that's good. And then we're going to go back to doing another 100 and sending another 100 emails or whatever that is. My thinking was, why? Why? We know the first 100 was probably the first 100 that was the top 100 people. They hit every keyword we had. That was really the best people. But those 80 people that never responded, do we know why? Was it bad timing? What was it? Like, not getting any response means that I never know. So I was trying to find out what's ways that I can use the work I've already done, but make my outreach better. And yes, I could sit down and research every one of those candidates and find every open, information, try to really spend half an hour, 45 minutes to craft a very personal email to every one of them. And that works if you're in executive search, because you actually have the time for that, and your addressable market is probably so small that there's only 10 people in the world that could do your job. And I would do that if I was. I'm not. I recruit professional services, salespeople, and developers. And that normally means I need a lot of them quickly. But I also need to talk to as many of them as possible, because just because they're not interested right now doesn't mean that they wouldn't be interested at next year. And I still need them next year, and it's still the same people I would contact next year. So I did a lot of research specifically on video. I started using a lot of sales tools about putting videos straight into an email. So rather than spending 5 minutes on your template and putting personal things in, so personalizing your outreach, why not use the same 5 minutes to actually shoot a video? So that was what my talk was about. And part of that as well was a tool that started working with called Lemlist. Because part of what Lemlist had was, one, the reason I liked the tool to begin with is it was email automation. And one of the main problems I had a contract last year where I was doing developers for a company that never been in London. So nobody knew who they were. I was a full stack recruiter, but had no pipeline. So my job was 90% sourcing. That meant I could find these people because developers have a habit of going into meetup groups, and meetup groups are highly scrapable, and they're not that hard to find. So I had a list of 5,000 people I really wanted to talk to. Personalizing an email to every one of them was not feasible, but I still did as much personalization as I could. I had a template, because at the end of the day, my opening and my call to action is the same no matter who I talk to. The middle of why I want to talk to them is the personalization. So I did a lot of that manually. So that was a lot of late nights of scheduling emails to go out between 7 and 9 in the morning, and then every week see who responded, who scheduled a call with me, and who do I need to follow up with. Because the difference between getting a 20% response rate and a 50% response rate is to sending more than one email or one contact. Because I never respond to it. Well, I don't respond to emails, but I never respond to the first anything. Because I know I'm on a list of 100 or 200. If you contact me, 3 days or a week later, I'm actually going to read it, because I'm probably on a list of actually 20 rather than 100. Because how many of us just get random emails from other recruiters about something? But what Lemlist is that it did two things for me. One, I was able to actually do what I did manually. I did that for 2,500 developers in 3 months, but it was manually. So I send the emails. I did follow-up emails up to 3, because then they started getting annoyed that I was following up with them. But that was manually in my Outlook. And having Lemlist, I could do that all at once. I set everybody up. I personalize it with their name, where they are, the things that I wanted in there. And I could put a picture in there. So I talked to Guillaume as well, and I said, look, I'm big on video. Can we do something that it's not just, a picture that personalized, but video? And it wasn't long after that, because I think VNA went away and then hacked something together in 2 days. And then I got this email from Guillaume, and it had my picture on it, and it had a big red YouTube play button. And what normally happens with people who see a big red YouTube play button on an email is that they press on it. So I did. And this came up. Ooh. Is that going to play or? There.
Guillaume here, co-founder of Lemlist. So as you know, we've been working with Vianney and Francois on an email automation tool, focusing on personalized images. And today we're going to be releasing our new feature, which is personalized video. So we're super excited about it. So what are personalized video? It's videos that you'll be able to put directly in your email, and you'll be able to add personalized website screenshots, such as this one. Oh, what a nice website. And social profile as well, such as Twitter account, for example, and company logo, and also like as many text as you want, as you can see here. And yeah, so if you want to be really like the next rock stars of cold emailing, you should definitely reach out to me. Just send me an email, and so we can have a chat. Have a great day. Bye.
How would you think getting that email rather than, hello, I found your profile on LinkedIn? That makes a lot of difference for me. So I do these manual, like I shoot these videos for a lot of my candidates, like one by one. This is a scalable version, and I really like that because this could be done for 100 candidates as one, because you have the same message, but it's still personalized. And it's still a lot better than whatever templates we would normally send out. But let's get Guillaume out. I have a couple of questions, and I'm sure you have some questions as well. For me, that's one of the hacks that I use. If you want to see how it actually works, I can easily show you that. But what it basically is that I have a list of people that I want to reach out to. I set them all up in the Lemlist, and I say, this is my first email. If they don't respond, I want to send them this email in 3 days. And you go on with that. But I also have it set up. It's like if they click on my calendar link, take them out, because then that means that they've either scheduled a call with me or they had an intention to. So I put them in something else. So it gives me that control that I didn't have last year. And it saves me about 90% of the work because I don't have to do it manually. So I want to welcome Guillaume and get him to talk a bit about what the tool is and what the idea was about it.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Guillaume, the CEO of Lemlist. I won't talk for too long because I know there are like the pizza over there and you must be like starving. Yeah, so thanks, Mark, for sharing. We're an email automation tool, so we strongly believe in building relationships through emails and through videos. As Mark said, like the goal of the video is basically to be able to send videos at scale. Once you've sourced the right candidates, you just have one pitch, and adding like their GitHub profile, their LinkedIn profile, automatically it can be done. And this is why actually we created Lemlist. If you're not comfortable in doing video, we also insert personalized images where you can put the face of the candidate automatically, his skills, and so on, which basically get the attention and get a higher reply rate. We have like a lot of different use cases. We launched like a year ago, and we have like more than 5,000 companies using Lemlist. Initially, it was mainly for sales, but I discovered like the sourcing community, and I really like it because I think you guys are much more oriented towards like building relationship compared to sales. Sorry about that. I know there is a sales guy in the room. But yeah, so if you're using email to reach out to like your candidates or potential person you'd like to, I don't know, build relationship with, I'll be super interested in knowing what's your process and if we can help, or if you have any questions, always happy to chat. And now here come the pizza.
Thank you everyone for coming. Yeah, pizza is there. We're still around. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Personal plug, if you haven't seen it yet, I run a YouTube channel called Sourcing Challenge, where I interview sourcers from around the world. So if you're interested in hearing other people's story, go there as well. And yeah, feel free to ask if you have any questions. Thank you.